Should you buy the OnePlus 7 Pro? A lot of people are asking themselves that question, and that phone, it does look good on paper, but we should talk about a few things first. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech so honest it hurts. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping in and visiting with me. If you want to come back again, then you can like, subscribe, bell notify, all that kind of stuff. And you can become part of the Painfully Honest Tech family. If you are already a part of the Painfully Honest Tech Wizard Squad, the family, then thank you so much for coming back again. It really does mean ever so much to me. And now a quick word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by the Painfully Honest Tech Patreon supporters. I'm building in a bunch of new perks, including stuff like patron-only vlogs and some, behind-the-scenes kind of stuff, as well as a community Discord so you can talk to me about tech, I guess, or whatever. If you want to be a part of this fun, then you go over to patreon.com/painfullyhonesttech and, support the channel for as little as $1 a month. Okay, so let's talk about this OnePlus 7 Pro phone. Let's talk first about the good. We've got the 90 Hz refresh rate, which is good, and it makes everything look very smooth. Very smooth. But it's not as good as the 120 Hz on the Razer phone, and so, yeah, there's that. The overall build quality, great. It feels great. It's nice heft to it. Its color is very nice. This is the slate, blacky, whatever they want to call it. There's no notch, which is wonderful. Thank you, OnePlus. The selfie cam is fun because you can do this. See that happen? Then you can go back down. Okay. Selfie cam, fun. I like that it removes the notch, but moving parts in a smartphone never make me feel very good. I don't care how many times they say they tested it. Samsung says they tested the Galaxy Fold, and look where that got us. Most of the early reviews are also talking about how fast this phone is. It's so fast. They're talking about how fast it is, and it is. And I think that comes down to how they have the animations tuned on this phone. There's really not very much to the animations, but if you want to get faster animations on another Android smartphone, you can go into developer options and you can turn those babies down to 0 if you want and get faster animations. I mean, this has the same stuff inside that all the rest of the smartphones have. So it looks faster, but is it really? Now we got to talk about this fingerprint scanner. If you do it right, it's really fast. But as you see, it takes me a couple of times. I find that annoying. I realize that if I were to use the phone for several months, I would probably get extremely used to it and not be a problem. But this is the problem that I've had with in-screen fingerprint readers. It's always like you're learning a new dance. And it takes some time to get the pressure right and to make sure that you know where it wants your finger and all that kind of stuff. So it's not really a bad thing. I mean, it takes some getting used to, of course, but I'm not a fingerprint scanner kind of guy. In-screen, on the phone somewhere, I just don't really like it. I would prefer to have other options. The camera on this guy is better by all reports than most OnePlus phones have been, but is that really saying much? Hell, the Pixel 3a has a better camera and it costs $300 less than this. Is that a fair comparison? I don't know. Some might say yes, some might say no. It depends on how much the camera matters to you, I guess, but I think it's completely fair. Let's see, what are the good things do we have? It's got 256 gigabytes out of the box storage-wise, 8 gigabytes of RAM, but there's no SD card slot. So now let's move on to what is the bad. The OS on the OnePlus phones has always looked really, really boring to me. This comes down to the fonts that they use and the blockiness of the icons, and they're really bland looking. It just looks not quite finished or not quite professional. It looks like they just kind of started to design this thing using the default font like, Arial and Word or something like that, and then they got done and forgot to change the fonts. Compared to Samsung or Apple's typefaces and UX design, and OnePlus always has just looked incredibly rudimentary to me. As I said before, the fingerprint scanner is a nice feature. It's really fast, it's really cool, yay technology, but I preferred to have the option for facial recognition, which you can't have on this phone because the selfie camera is stuck down in here. And yes, this phone comes with warp charge, where you can get 50% of the charge on the phone in 20 minutes, and that's fantastic. And I'm surprised it doesn't just blow up. But For OnePlus to charge these flagship-like prices, $699, and leave out wireless charging when every other flagship on the market supports it, I mean, they've gone from the nothing but the essentials budget-minded phone to just being straight up pig-headed and leaving things out. And of course, we've got no headphone jack. No headphone jack, which used to be something that OnePlus was lauded for. And this phone was announced on the heels of the Google Pixel 3a and 3a XL, which brought back the headphone jack. Now, it's not a great headphone jack, but it's there, and this one doesn't have it. This is annoying, and not really because the jack isn't there. Every flagship but Samsung, thank you Samsung, has removed the headphone jack. But the overall smartphone industry, starting with Apple and moving on down the line, has gaslighted consumers into believing that the headphone jack is obsolete, and it's not. And that wireless headphones are not only the future, which they probably are, but they sound better, which they definitely do not. So if you think wireless headphones sound better, you're wrong. Unless you've paid upwards of $400 to get wireless headphones, and then you might get wireless headphones that approximate a wired headphone that costs $150. And even then, they're still not the same thing. They still don't really sound as good. Sorry. And to add insult to injury, OnePlus doesn't even put a dongle in the box. So you have to buy their crappy Bullets wireless headphones. Whatever, $99. You have to pay an extra $99. So that makes it a $799 phone, which makes it as expensive as most other flagships. But again, okay, headphone jack, maybe another discussion for another time. It's something that irks me. You may have noticed a pattern in this review. Even when I was listing the good stuff about the OnePlus 7 Pro, there was always that pesky little conjunction at the end of every nicety, that but. The OnePlus 7 Pro is, quite frankly, the butt phone. 90 Hz is nice, but not as nice as the 120 on the Razr. The screen looks great, but for my money, Samsung has a better, more vibrant screen. The pop-up selfie camera is fun, but it introduces moving parts to the phone and takes away the option for face recognition, so Warp charge, impressive, but I'd rather have wireless charging. The in-screen fingerprint scanner is nice, but I'd rather have the option for something else as well. You get the picture. You get the picture. Ultimately, the OnePlus 7 Pro is a very nice phone, but it makes too many compromises to really compete with the other phones in this price range, and even some below this price range. Right now, the OnePlus 7 Pro is the shiny new thing, and consumers and reviewers alike are gushing all over it like fans at a BTS show. BTS? They're cool now, aren't they? But in the end, there are too many buts. If you buy this phone, once the new car smell wears off, you will realize that you bought a Toyota Camry, not a Lexus. And then you will feel that emptiness in your soul where all the compromises OnePlus made to make this phone, all the buts along the way, sink deep into your heart and you feel empty. The OnePlus 7 Pro has just made too many compromises. It's left too much stuff out. It's made too much stuff pretty good, but not quite great enough. It's not a great phone. Should you buy the OnePlus 7 Pro if you're looking for a basic phone that does some really cool things, but at the expense of what has become standard features on competing phones? Then yeah, if you want something that's not as good as the stuff that costs just about as much, sure. But if you want a phone that has all the stuff flagship phones have in 2019, I'd point you in the direction of Samsung on the Android side. If you're an iPhone person thinking of switching over, don't do it for this phone. You'll be disappointed in less than a month. Yes, OnePlus is making strides to compete with the upper tier players in the market, but they're not there yet. There are way too many buts to recommend them against the phones they're trying to compete against. That was okay when they were saving you hundreds of dollars and you get 90% of the flagship phone, but when you're saving $100, maybe even less, and get 90% of what a flagship phone is, that's not quite good enough. What do you think about the OnePlus 7 Pro? Are you considering grabbing one, or are you gonna save a few more dollars and buy a real flagship phone? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm anxious to hear your thoughts. Thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. If this was your first time here and you want to come on back, like, subscribe, bell notify, all that kind of stuff. If you've been here before, you know how much I care for you. If you want to watch another Painfully Honest Tech video, or one's gonna pop up on the screen, like maybe over here, maybe. And you can click that and go to watch another video. Make sure you follow me on the social medias that are linked in the description below. And don't forget to check out that Patreon at patreon.com/painfullyhonesttech. Once again, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I am out.